What is going on, guys? Ultimate Deadpool here, back with a hopefully fun video. Well, I say fun, but it's mostly going to be for a slight channel update. Um, so, as you guys know, I love collecting things. I collect Marvel Legend figures now. I collect NECA figures. I collect, custom made minifigures and stuff that I do myself. Um, I customize action figures, build RCD card or custom RCD cars, and I like to take things apart, put things back together, and just do all kinds of stuff like that. Plus, if I find really nice props and stuff like these two, I pick them up from time to time. So I've been on the up against the fence on this and been basically putting this off for years, literal years. I've been putting this off, and the only reason I've done this now or thought about doing this now, I'm going to do it just because I want to do it, but the only reason I'm doing this now is because I saw one of my favorite YouTubers, if not my favorite YouTuber, Chris Parker, aka 3C Films, recently do his YouTube studio set because he just moved into a new house. And, he, like me, has been putting this off and not really doing much of anything with this particular brand of figures just because, again, of how expensive they are. And granted, he makes YouTube money. I don't make YouTube money. I have my everyday day job money to pay for this type of stuff. But it's one of those things that it's like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I've been thinking about getting some Hot Toy figures for my YouTube studio set as well as my own personal collection. But I'm only limiting myself to a handful of figures. Now, if my editor is worth a shit, I'm going to flash you guys by some of the figures that I'm going to get at some point. But this is only a select few. Now, I'm only getting these particular ones plus a handful of others that you guys aren't going to know about until I do a review video on them. Because I know how expensive Hot Toys can get. I also know how addictive it can be to start collecting something that you really like and think is really cool. So I don't want to get addicted to spending hundreds of dollars on something that's going to stay on my shelf for ever and a day and not really be used except to, maybe shoot like a handful of videos, if that. Or if anything, they may just sit on a shelf and never be touched again. But it's one of those things that it's like I'm only limiting myself to a handful of categories. I'm going to limit myself to Spider-Man, which you have seen some of the Spider-Man characters that we're just rolling through. Batman, you just saw a handful of those that are going to go through. The Ghostbusters, for obvious reasons. Deadpool and Wolverine, because I love the Deadpool and Wolverine costumes. And I'm going to do two different Wolverines and two different Deadpools. Again, it'll all make sense when I make my Hot Toys unboxing video or review video or videos, because I'm up against the fence on that. We'll talk about that later. And one character from one of my favorite movies, and like one or two other little things. Oh, and Iron Man, for two different versions of Iron Man. One of which because it's my personal favorite Iron Man suit, and the second one is because I just love the detail on it. But I've never done anything Hot Toys related because I've never done anything like it because I just never thought like I needed to or never wanted to. And I don't know, I've always heard good things about them. I always hear like, oh, the quality of them is really good, the price on them is a little much, but it's definitely worth it. And it's one of those things that it's just like, I know I just need to hurry up and start doing. I'm only, like I said, I'm only getting a select few. and whatnot, it's going to be very minuscule to most other people's collections, because I know there's a YouTube channel on YouTube that has like 500 official Hot Toys and like 350 unofficial Hot Toys, plus like every vehicle and stuff that they've done. Now, when it comes to vehicles, I am definitely limiting myself on those. I am only going to get Ecto 1, again, for obvious reasons. A version of the Batmobile. And one thing from one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. That is it. That is it on terms of vehicles, and that's really it in terms of Hot Toys. I am seriously going to limit myself to what Hot Toys I collect, and I'm only limiting myself to certain Spider-Man characters, Deadpool and Wolverine, certain Batman figures, and the Ghostbusters for obvious reasons, plus the one character from one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid, and it's still one of my favorite movies today. And like maybe one or two little ones. So that's kind of where my mindset is. It's something that I'm going to do for my YouTube studio set as well as my own personal collection, and it's going to kind of double as both, more or less my personal collection than YouTube stuff. But here's where I'm conflicted on is, and I've thought about this for the last 2 days since I've wanted to do these Hot Toy figures, and I keep coming back to the same thing. I want to do a video, like a big video, on, kind of reviewing all of the Hot Toy figures that I want to do, but at the same time that'd be a very long video, and I do not want to edit that down. So I'm thinking I'm going to end up breaking it into categories. Like, if I'm going to do, like, say, the live-action Spider-Man characters, I'm going to review the live-action Spider-Man characters. If I'm going to do certain versions of Batman, I'll review certain versions of Batman altogether. If I'm going to do a vehicle, I'm going to do that vehicle all by itself. If I'm going to do, the Deadpool and Wolverine characters, I'll do the Deadpool and Wolverine characters as a group. So that way it's not as like, holy crap, that's a humongous ass video and a big Hot Toys collection video and blah 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 blah. So it's one of those things that it's gonna take time. And I know it's gonna take time. Because like I said, Hot Toys are not cheap by any stretch of the word, but they're not expensive either, depending on which ones you get. And like I said, I'm gonna get the Ghostbusters, the Ecto 1 Afterlife Edition. I can't find the 1984 version that's cheap or that will ship it to me. Because the only one I found was like the price. It was literally more expensive than my truck was. And it's like all the way out in Arizona. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not driving all the way to Arizona just for a freaking 1/6 scale Ecto 1 that's clean. So I'll stick with the Afterlife Rusted version. It still does the same thing that the other one does, so I can't say too much. It's the same thing. So anyway, that's just kind of what my mindset's been for the last few days, and it's just I've kind of been bouncing back and forth on this, kind of like, okay, do I want to go through this? Do I want to go ahead and do this for my YouTube studio set, or do I want to just, go ahead and do this, but do it as like my own personal private collection for like if I have friends and family over, they can look at that stuff. Because my dad's stepdad really likes some of the stuff that I've collected over the years, and he would have a blast with these Hot Toy characters. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I like to do this type of stuff too. But it wouldn't also be a bad idea for me to have this as my own personal collection as well. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing it as, but then there's going to be like, I can switch out certain Hot Toy figures and vehicles for certain, for different videos and stuff. If I'm doing like a big review or something, you guys can see it on camera or see those those figures and stuff on camera. So it's just something I'm tossing around right now, but I want to get y'all's opinion on it. Do you guys think this is a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Tell me if you guys have any Hot Toys yourself. or if you collect anything like that. If you guys collect anything like that, please let me know. And if I seem interested enough, I may end up looking into your suggestion and see if maybe I can find something that's similar to what you guys like. And maybe I'll try to interpret it in some form of video somewhere down the line. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys all next time. Bye.